What's up? So we got Cobra Kai Season 4, Episode 8, Party Time. So this episode starts off with Stingray. Yeah, Stingray's back. And Stingray is back. And he's, or Raymond, or as Kreese like to call him, or as Johnny like to call him, Chubbs. And, he just shows up and his neighbor starts complaining to him and calling him Stingray. I have no idea. And he's like, like you have like karate things with you have your like kung fu things. And he's like, it's not kung fu, it's Cobra Kai. And yeah, he's like, you don't want to mess with a cobra or you're gonna get bit. And yeah, then at Cobra Kai, we see Tori. We see Kyler talking about some. So then we see Tori and we see Robbie, and he's talking to Tori about the school dance, and she's like, it's for rich people. And he's like, and I'm like, and my dad was like, isn't she just join school? Why wouldn't she go? So then we see Louis' sister, Louis Jr., a man talking to Daniel about Louis' sister, and they're fighting about something. And yeah, so Lucille doesn't know why doesn't know about why Anthony was grounded, because we know about bullying Kenny and getting in trouble for it. So yeah. So then they take a family photo with the Diaz's. Sam looks pretty cool in the prom dress that she wears. And then when they call on Anthony, and they're like, Anthony's like, I guess I'm not allowed in my room for all eternity. And Lucille's like, why is he grounded? And Daniel's like, I'll talk about it with you later. But I guess we never see Lucille again after this. So I guess she never talks about it. I guess he talks about it with her off screen. And then they take a photo, which looks really cool. So yeah. So when Johnny's getting home, he's approached by Shannon, his ex-wife, and she basically explains how Terry Silver gave Robbie a car for his prom date and gave her money, and Johnny basically calls up Terry, who's watching this, and he's like, hey, stay away from my son, stay away from my ex-wife, and don't give her money. And he's like, oh, your ex-wife is pretty cool, Johnny. And yeah, so he basically lures Johnny to the original dojo that Johnny was in the original Karate Kid film. But I don't think it's the original dojo. I think it's just a place that they want fans to believe was the original dojo. So yeah, Terry kicks Johnny in the face, and Kreese is not okay with it. And I was surprised. I was like, after all, Johnny defeating Kreese at the end of season 3, I'm surprised that Kreese is protecting Johnny here, telling Terry that he's not supposed to fight Johnny. And yeah, so he tells Terry to back off Johnny, and yeah. So meanwhile, Robbie and Tori show up at the prom and start going into a dance-off against Miguel and Sam. And yeah, so then they go, and yeah, so Tori, like, hey, I'm not trying, Sam tries to be nice to Tori, but they get into a fight. Sam hurts Miguel's feelings by saying that she also broke up with Rob, that Robbie broke her heart too, and that Robbie broke her 2, and this breaks Miguel. And this you can see the hurt in Miguel when Sam says that. So they get into a fight. They all go into the pool, and yeah. So then we cut to Stingray, and the neighbor from before tells Stingray that he's nothing. He's just a normal guy that has no friends, and his only friends are high school students. So yeah. So he basically. And he's like, hey, it's not Stingray, it's Stingray. And yeah, so then we see Yasmin, who decided to either come back for Dimitri, or blow off her dad, or decide not to be at her dad's wedding for Dimitri. And she goes to do something with Dimitri as she grabs his tie and leaves poor Eli / former Hawk, because he no longer has a mohawk, so I call him Eli, leaves Eli all alone with no date, no girlfriend, and no friend, because his friend decided to leave him to do something with his girlfriend. So Eli's just sad, and yeah. So after that, Sam gets mad at Miguel gets mad at Sam gets mad at Miguel, and yeah, so then when Miguel goes home, he sees Johnny all drunk, and when Johnny tells him he loves Miguel, he says, I love you too, and he's like, yeah, thanks, Robbie. Poor Miguel in this scene, because basically Robbie just told Miguel that Johnny was only using Miguel to make him feel better about himself, since he failed with Robbie, and to hear him say Robbie's name when he says I love you must hurt Miguel. We might say something in this next episode, but we don't see that. So let's talk about the Stingray stuff that happened in this episode. So Stingray comes back to Cobra Kai, where Kreese tells him, you were never Cobra Kai. And he's like, is this sort of initiation? And he's like, get out, you were never Cobra Kai. Like, come on. So basically he goes back to Cobra Kai and tries to be sensei to Silver, but a drunken Silver just like say, you think you're a Cobra Kai? And starts beating the crap out of Stingray. And that's basically where the episode ends. So, yeah. Also, let's talk about it. So let's talk about the other thing that happened in this episode. When Johnny was fighting Terry, before everything happened that I talked about, he decided to use some wax on, wax off, and painting the wall, thing that Daniel did. And when Daniel discovered that his son actually had one more electronic, he tried to say, Daniel broke it and was like, quiet, like something that Johnny would do. And that basically motivates Anthony to pick up the garbage the next day. And he was like, I'll help with the dealership. What I did to Kenny was wrong. I'm sorry, but I'll help with the dealership. I'll even join Miyagi-Do. So, yeah, so Johnny took some of Daniel's offense and defense, some defenses against Silver, and Daniel took some of Johnny's quiet to disappoint Anthony. So, yeah, it seems like even though they're not in a line together, Johnny and Daniel are taking stuff from each other and using it against the people they were fighting. Not fighting, he was mad at Anthony, but still. So, this was an okay episode. It was a cool return to see Stingray back, as we saw Aisha in episode 6. Yeah, we saw Aisha in episode 6. One of the worst episodes of that show compared to me. What I said, if you haven't seen the review how I much dislike that episode, go check it out. Because this episode, even though I had the return of Stingray, I think Stingray or Aisha will play. I think Stingray will play more a part in the show than Aisha, because Stingray actually came back to Cobra Kai. He actually wanted to rejoin, even though Kreese was like, no, you were never part of Cobra Kai. get out. But he actually came back and got beat up by a drunken Terry Silver. But poor Miguel, man, he was looking at Tori's last entire episode. Then Sam yells at him, and then when he goes home expecting Johnny not to be drunk, he hears Johnny say that he loves Robbie, not him. He says, when he says, I love you too, he's like, Robbie. He's like, Rob. And it's just like, come on. Johnny's drunk, we all know, but he doesn't know what he's saying. Miguel may have put him in bed, but he doesn't know what he may have been thinking about Robbie in that scene. And also Tori and Robbie's kiss at the end of the episode. They actually hook up at the end of the episode. So I think it'll just be they hook up and then they'll go back to being friends. I don't think this is a whole hashtag Robbie, Rory, or Toby relationship. I don't think it's that. I do not think they're trying to romance. I did think they were trying to romance them, like make them together. But so Miguel was looking at Tori the entire episode for some reason, and then Robbie, and then Miguel, and then when Sam gets mad at Miguel, Miguel tries to stop Sam from attacking Tori. It's kind of like a redone version of the school brawl between the two relationships. Instead of Robbie helping and protecting Sam, he's protecting Tori, and instead of Miguel protecting Tori, he's protecting Sam. So it's kind of like a redo of their relationship. So yeah, it was cool to see that, even though I don't believe this was the actual filming location of the Cobra Kai Dojo, I think it was just a random place that they wanted the audience to believe it was the Cobra Kai Dojo. It was cool placing the Cobra Kai Dojo flashback. But even though it wasn't the original place where those movies took place, I think it's just, it could have been, or it could have been, like oh hey, we're gonna have them film in a random location and say it's the original Cobra Kai Dojo. But it's not. So anyway, that wraps up this episode. I'll see you next time for some more Cobra Kai. Next episode is the penultimate episode, the start of the All Valley Tournament two-parter. Two-parter meaning the finale and next episode. So I'll see you next time for some more. Maybe the finale does this. The finale does also. It does. It may mean if. I want Eagle Fang or Miyagi to win, because if Miyagi wins, I'll have to change the name of the channel to Miyagi Karate. But Cobra Kai, obviously Cobra Kai win. They wouldn't just have the bad guys win and have our main characters just lose karate forever. It would mean what they were doing was completely pointless. But yeah, I vote Miguel for Eagle Fang. I vote Miguel or Devin. For Karate Kid, for Miyagi-Do, I vote Hawk or Dimitri or Sam, because there's also a version. They're also making it that Sam and Tori Devin fight, which is just like, okay, I don't know why they're doing it. I guess it's to give the Tori Sam. This is Tori's and Sam's first tournament, because they never actually fought. Tori wasn't introduced in the first tournament, and now it was Devin, but Sam never fought because she hasn't learned karate yet. So this is actually Tori and Sam and Devin's first tournament. But this is Miguel's second, this is Eli's second, and this is Dimitri's first. So yeah. So anyway, see you next time for some more Cobra Kai. Boom. And remember to Eagle first. Remember to Eagle first, Eagle heart, and always Eagle.